Welcome back, everyone, to Boruto Theory Zone. Today we're exploring one of the most chilling and overlooked storylines in Boruto, the mysterious creation of Oga, the eighth Kara Inner, and the growing suspicion that Amado may be the most dangerous manipulator in the entire series. This isn't just another mad scientist trope. This is a man who is playing with souls, rewriting the code of life, and using the deepest desires of those around him to achieve one single goal: bringing back his dead daughter, Akebi. But in doing so, Amado may unleash something far worse than the Otsutsuki. Let's begin. After countless failed experiments to revive his daughter Akebi, Amado does something unexpected. He doesn't create another fighter or a backup vessel. He creates Oga, the eighth Kara Inner. But Oga isn't like the rest of them. She's not a combatant. Her body is completely unmodified. No enhanced strength, no ninja tech, no weapons. And that's because she wasn't built for war. She was built for something much more dangerous: understanding the human spirit. Amado engineered her brain to be a super-intelligent analyzer, capable of processing data, abstract philosophy, and spiritual essence at a level no human ever could. And her sole task? To study the soul of Jigen, the man possessed by Ishiki Otsutsuki. And her findings? They shake the very foundation of what it means to be alive. Oga concludes that desire is deeply connected to one's vital force. In other words, it's not just chakra or biology that fuels a person's will to live. It's wanting something. And according to her, she learned this directly from Jigen. She observed his obsession with immortality and realized something: that burning desire to live forever was the fuel behind his survival instincts, and perhaps the reason Ishiki was able to maintain control for so long. But here's where things take a dark turn. When Jigen discovers that Oga has been studying him, digging into his psyche, he doesn't just eliminate her. Instead, in a move that's as cruel as it is symbolic, he targets a specific part of her brain. Not just any part. He damages the region near the limbic system, specifically what is heavily implied to be the amygdala. Now, for those who don't know, the amygdala plays a crucial role in emotional processing, particularly fear, desire, and the instinct to survive. In essence, Jigen destroys the exact part of her mind that governs emotional willpower. And in doing so, he might have unintentionally confirmed her theory. Why? Because if desire is truly linked to the will to live, then destroying the amygdala is like cutting out a piece of the soul itself. Jigen, whether consciously or not, may have left Oga as a husk, stripped of emotional context, thus she lost her will to live. It's the ultimate irony. The very monster she studied gave her the final answer by trying to silence her. And Amado? He now knows desire can be neurologically isolated. He's getting closer. With Oga's research in hand, Amado doesn't just continue his science. He levels up. He becomes something far more dangerous: a manipulator of human will. A man who understands that if you can control someone's deepest desire, you don't need to control their body. You control their soul. And here's where we see his genius and his cruelty. First, Amado promises Jigen help in finding the perfect vessel. But why? Because he knows Ishiki's greatest weakness is his obsession with survival. Immortality isn't just a plan for Ishiki, it's his core identity. It was a compulsion, a psychological weak point. Amado leverages that, playing the long game, stalling, manipulating, preparing the battlefield, setting traps, and ultimately contributing to Jigen's fall. Next, Kashin Koji. More than a clone, he was a mirror of Jiraiya, a hero. Amado weaponized that sense of justice, convincing Koji to fight Jigen in a suicidal battle, not through force, but through purpose. Koji didn't just fight for victory. He fought because Amado made him believe it was the only way to give his existence meaning. Koji agrees to fight Jigen, fully knowing he probably won't survive. Why? Because Amado gave him purpose. He turned Koji's nobility into a weapon. Then, Ida is in love with Kawaki, so much so it borders on unhealthy obsession. Amado doesn't resist her. He doesn't fight her power. Instead, he offers her a path to what she wants most: Kawaki's affection. And that's enough to turn her against Code, reframe her loyalties, and redirect her influence toward Konoha. Desire wins again. Even Shikamaru, the most brilliant tactician in the Hidden Leaf, wasn't immune. Amado attached a fake bomb to his son's neck. Shikadai, just a bluff. But it worked. Because even the sharpest mind unravels when their child's life is at stake. And when the dust settled, Amado said it was all a ruse, as if psychological warfare against a father was just another step in the plan. But Amado's most insidious move? Kawaki. Kawaki's heart is bound to Naruto. He sees him as a savior, a father, the first man to ever love him unconditionally. And Amado knows this. So what does he do? He offers Kawaki power, not just any power, but the exact power necessary to protect Naruto. He convinces Kawaki that the only way to keep Naruto safe is to become stronger than the Otsutsuki. And who holds that power? Amado. He implants karma again. He pulls Kawaki back into the cycle, framing it as the only choice. Kawaki walks into it willingly because he believes it's the only way to save the person he loves most. Amado didn't manipulate him with lies. He used truth twisted by urgency and fear. Let's not forget Code, the wild card. He literally worships the Otsutsuki as gods. His obsession is religious, fanatical, untouchable. And yet, who benefits from Code being active? Who gains leverage when Kawaki feels more and more pressure from this inevitable threat? Amado. He doesn't need to stop Code. He just needs Code to exist, to keep the pressure high, to make everyone desperate, to reinforce the illusion that there's no time to think, only act. And now, we arrive at the heart of this entire theory, Amado's daughter, Akebi. Amado has embedded her data into Kawaki's karma. He's planning to implant that data into a cloned body. He wants to bring her back. But there's a flaw. If Oga's theory is correct, and the will to live is tied to desire, then Akebi's original death wasn't just due to illness. It may have been her lack of will to go on. Amado is reviving someone who may have chosen to let go. And what happens if he brings her back without her consent? What if she awakens not as Akebi, but as something else? Something Otsutsuki? Something resentful? He's forcing life onto someone who may not want it. And in doing so, he risks creating a being that exists outside natural law, a soul dragged back from death, upgraded by alien technology and given no choice in the matter. Amado is not just a genius. He's a man who manipulates the very essence of being human. Desire, fear, purpose, love. These aren't just emotions to him, they're tools. Oga was his first step, Kawaki is his masterpiece, and Akebi, she might be his final sin. The question we're left with is chilling. What happens when you try to resurrect someone who never asked to be saved? And what if the person you bring back is no longer human at all? Do you think Akebi's resurrection will save the world, or destroy it? And is Amado truly a grieving father, or the ultimate villain of Boruto? Make sure to subscribe for more in-depth theories, leave a like, and drop a comment below. Thanks for watching.